Hi, my name is Dylan, and I'm a recovering addict and an alcoholic. At the height of my status arc, the outside world would have seen a successful white male who had it all. I was running the world's largest touring children's theater. I owned a large 3-story house. I had the picture-perfect American family. Now I see that the path to this picture-perfect life was gentle and easy compared to many. I did not have to struggle with oppression based out of sex, race, ability, affectional orientation, ethnicity, or socioeconomic status. I benefited from my privilege as a white, heterosexual male. Yes, jobs came easy and my parents were able to provide, but more than that, as I strove to be the most fun, the most liked, the coolest, I got myself into trouble with the law. I found myself in a jail at 18 in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, for possession of marijuana. I was able to make an appointment with the judge and talk with him in his chambers. I told him about my future, my dreams. I was on my way to college on a running scholarship. The judge was luckily a white male, a cross-country alumni from the Citadel, an all-boys military college. Even though I was attending his rival college, you could sense that I was in the club. He let me off with just a slap on the wrist. I'm not so certain that my BIPOC counterparts would have received such leniency or even been able to attend a private audience with the judge. This was not the only time that the law was on my side. In college, we threw mini parties that were often broken up by the police. I never had to worry much more about getting much more than a ticket for a noise violation, and even that never came to fruition. Prescription drug abuse became a very big part of my life in early college. My doctor prescribed me Adderall to help with my ADHD. Probably in part because of whiteness, I was able to squeeze out the maximum dosage out of him. This similar manipulation became a common occurrence in the medical world for me throughout my adult life. This is another example of how my white privilege got me what I wanted. By the time I reached my critical incident, inpatient treatment, I had reached the end of my rope. While the outside I was at the height of my career and my life goals, on the inside I had fallen so deep that I was certain I was going to unintentionally or intentionally kill myself. I decided to check myself into a treatment center. Luckily, I had good health insurance and my father was able to foot the out-of-pocket expense. My work generously allowed me to take sick leave, and when I ran out of my own personal sick leave, individual employees offered up their PTO to see me through to the end of my treatment. While I was in treatment, the company reached out to ask me if I wanted to come back to work. I was even given the option of returning in a more relaxed workload capacity. I recognize that this is not a luxury that would have been afforded to most people. Being a resident at an in-treatment facility opened my eyes a great deal. I learned a lot about my control issues. I learned about my misconceptions. I learned that life would continue without me and that I was not responsible for everything and everyone. I also learned what I was responsible for and where amends needed to be made. Indirectly, I learned about my privilege. In retrospect, I now recognize this privilege to be more specifically white male privilege. I thought I was a sharp contrast to the Native Americans and poor whites, which made up most of the clientele in the treatment center. I cherished the friendships I gained. I learned about tribes and traditions. I learned about values and friendships. I learned that no matter where we came from in the facility, we were all fighting our own demons. I learned about homelessness, hunger, fear, betrayal, mistrust, violence, and hopelessness. I learned about incredible challenges individuals face in the outside world. Many of the clients were repeat offenders, and many of them had multiple criminal charges awaiting them when they got out. I had none of these circumstances. I was there by my own volition. Sometimes I even felt like an imposter in a drug treatment facility. I had a drug problem, all right, but it felt like I didn't have the right to it. It brought perspective to my sheltered and privileged life. It humbled me. I returned to a life that set me up to have the greatest chance of long-term recovery. A job, a family, a house, recovery meetings at my fingertips. I returned to a life that was smooth and easy in comparison to what many of my inmates faced when they were finally released back into the world. Now, I keep it simple. I try not to struggle. I work on my gratitude. With my eyes open to so much unearned privilege, today I try to give back.